Welcome to this week's Movie Math, where sadly Chris Hemsworth suffered another box office blow, despite The Huntsman Winter's War being one of his best performances. Thankfully, his management team can at least point to yet another discrepancy between a recent movie's Rotten Tomatoes score and audience scores. But it might be too little too late for Hemsworth, especially with Ghostbusters as his next flick. If anyone needed to be in Captain America Civil War, it's Hemsworth, yet one has to wonder if his string of box office disappointments has even hurt his standing over at Marvel. Yes, Hemsworth is one of the few Avengers not appearing in Civil War, despite Thor playing a crucial role in the original comic book. And while we're talking about Marvel, this has also got to hurt Emily Blunt's odds of being cast as Captain Marvel, as her box office track record is also unfortunate. Jessica Chastain too could have used a win here, or at least a solid debut, as she tries to transition from indie films to blockbusters. Although, saying she should have been paid as much as Matt Damon for her work in The Martian surely didn't help either. Charlize Theron is likely Teflon though, and deservedly so, still riding high on last year's Mad Max Fury Road, as well as the recent news that she's been cast in Fast and Furious 8. But perhaps the biggest loser here is live-action fairy tales not made by Disney, as Universal had seemed to be the only studio able to compete with Disney after the Mouse House created the genre with Alice in Wonderland back in 2010, one of the very first films to make over $1 billion. Fast forward to today, and when contrasting Disney's success to other studios, one has to wonder if other studios should even try to make live-action fairy tales, just as other animation studios had to eventually give up on fairy tales themselves. Indeed, Warner Brothers just had to push back their own version of The Jungle Book another year to 2018 in the wake of Disney's mega hit. Why can't Andy Serkis just make his directorial debut with a different tale? Well, as some of you have pointed out, Serkis actually already filmed all the motion capture and voice work for the film. If you were a Warner Brothers executive, would you cut your losses now or stay the course? And don't forget, Disney is fast-tracking The Jungle Book 2, which will likely come out sometime around 2018. Man, sometimes the release schedule seems like a giant chessboard. Meanwhile, Disney dominated the box office once again with The Jungle Book, an incredibly impressive film that might have felled Winter's War under any circumstances. See, when the first Huntsman movie hit theaters, it was the only live-action fairy tale in theaters, and was so for weeks to come. Now, though, Universal finds itself going up against not only another live-action fairy tale, but one of the best-reviewed movies of the year. There's even Oscar buzz building. And to make matters worse, Disney's femme and family-friendly Alice Through the Looking Glass is just a month away, although that film could be Disney's first big miss of the year for a few reasons, including that Fox, post X-Men Days of Future Past and Deadpool, seems to be on very solid footing with their Marvel films. Back to The Jungle Book, it's fast climbing the box office charts Mowgli style, already the 5th highest grossing film of the year. That makes Disney and Fox the only two studios with more than one film in the year's top 10 list so far, although China as a country has 4. 4! Yowza! Pretty soon it might matter what Chinese audiences favor more than American audiences. And interestingly, they're super into the Avatar sequels. Elsewhere in the box office, Zootopia once again boasted the smallest drop, just 18% in its 8th weekend, while the bleeding seems to have finally slowed down for Batman v Superman, which only dropped 40% in its 5th weekend. Pretty much guaranteed not to join the billion-dollar club at this point, all eyes will now turn to its much-anticipated Blu-ray, which features Zack Snyder's R-rated director's cut, although Warner Brothers has yet to announce a release date for that Blu-ray. And another foreign film cracked the top 10, this time Mexico's Compadres, a Spanish-language film playing in limited release. As for this coming weekend, it's likely that The Jungle Book could still be the king of the box office, as most audiences save their money for multiple showings of Captain America Civil War. And while Key and Peele aren't expected to match Amy Schumer's big screen debut last year, they are set to at least be the weekend's biggest new release. And that's this weekend's box office. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.